Hey, what's up guys, Zero One, and today I'm going to be speaking to you about Hedda Gabler. Hedda Gabler is actually a play from Norway, and it was released back in 1895, 1892, and it just deals with this character named Hedda Gabler, who's an aristocrat. When she was young, she was very beautiful. Well, how can I put it? When she was younger, she was the highlight of the party. She was like the main girl that everybody wanted to hang out with or wanted to date. And as she got older, she realizes that all that's fleeing, and her beauty is fleeing. So she realized, man, I need to marry somebody. So she ends up with this egghead, this very intelligent individual. His name George Tesman, and George Tesman is going to try to be a university professor. So he has to go for this interview, and he's really excited that he married her. They're newlyweds, and she's really not digging the married life. She misses that old type of life that she had. And then comes in Thea, and Thea is actually a friend of her, or not friend, a classmate of hers that she grew up with. And we start getting this picture of who Hedda is really, Hedda Gabler is, and she's a very conniving, manipulated individual. So, and another thing is, in this play, there's another conniving and very manipulative individual, and that's Judge Brack. And Judge Brack and Hedda Gabler are really the same type of mindset, but one's male, one's female. So Thea, she comes into town and she's looking for somebody that she really loves, and this individual that she really loves is Ilrit. And he is basically you could say not an equal to George Tesman, but he's a very intelligent man. But the thing is that he's got alcoholic problems. So he actually came out with this book by the time that George Tesman and Hedda Gabler arrived to their new homes. They find out that Ilrit actually has a pretty good book. He's a really good writer. He's turned his back on alcohol. He's gotten away from that lifestyle that was destroying him. And he's actually going to be publishing a new second volume, or not a second edition, to the book that he already wrote. And it comes down to that Hedda Gabler knows him from the past, and he is still in love with Hedda Gabler. Ilrit, who was the alcoholic, is in love. Well, the previous alcoholic, or what he was before, is still in love with Hedda Gabler, and he's trying to prove that he is the man that he is. That he has overcome alcoholism, and he's gonna go do that by going to a party with the Judge Brack and also George. And throughout the play, we see that Hedda Gabler is manipulating everybody. She really is manipulating everybody. She's very, in a sense, her vice is to be controlled, to control. And that's one of the things that I guess you can read between the lines, that she misses that she wants to have control. And she starts showing that through the way she acts, not just with George, her husband, but also with the Ilrit, the other very intelligent man. But the thing is that Judge Brack sees through all of that. He really likes that. He loves that type of woman, and he himself is that. So you have that dynamic. And then as the play progresses, we see that Ilrit, who really wants to show that he's really a macho man, that he really wants to show off to Hedda Gabler and Thea that he is a man. Gets drunk, and he loses his manuscript that he's working on, this beautiful, real artistic manuscript of his second edition of what he was writing. So he ends up losing everything, in a sense, by losing his battle with alcoholism, losing his hope for life, losing his manuscript that he's worked so hard. And it's very heartbreaking, to see what happened to him. And George believes that, Ilrit's, after his position at the university, that he's going to outdo him. So that's why Hedda Gabler has this idea of like, hey, let's destroy the manuscript, because George Tisman finds the manuscript on the floor when he was with Ilrit, hanging out with him with the judge at the judge's party, because the judge has this party, and they're all there, and Ilrit goes there, and it's a mess. And George decides that he wants to dedicate his life to help Ilrit's manuscript be published. So he himself and Thea, which is the other person that helps Ilrit with the manuscript, decide to work on it and try to save whatever's left, because Hedda Gabler decides to burn it up. But the only problem is that Hedda Gabler's plan backfired on her, because Ilrit takes one of the guns that Hedda Gabler gives to him so he can commit suicide, and he does. And the judge knows that the gun belongs to Hedda Gabler, and the judge, you can say, has a one-up on Hedda Gabler, and he's going to try to use that to control Hedda Gabler, and Hedda Gabler says, so she decides to commit suicide. So that's basically the story of Hedda Gabler. It's a very, it's a moral story in the sense that don't try to go around controlling, manipulating people, because you never know what's going to happen after that. And I think as men, we have to have discipline in ourselves, especially Ilrit. Ilrit is a very intelligent man, but the problem is because of his alcoholism, his demons, or the demon of alcoholism, or whatever, it takes over him, and he decides to, end his life. And even though he had a great talent of writing, he doesn't find hope in what anybody tells him, because he's so distraught what he's done to himself, and also done to his relationship with Thea. And Thea is the type of person that's also stuck in a real bad situation or a real bad marriage. And Thea wants to help out Ilrit so she can get out of the house and get out of that marriage and be with him. But Ilrit's still madly in love with Hedda Gabler, and Hedda Gabler really just wants to control people. So it's it's not a love triangle, it's more of a dark story, a very dark story, sad, depressing story. And Hedda Gabler is, she couldn't handle her actions, so she commits suicide. So it's pretty sad. As Moses wrote down, I think in Leviticus or Deuteronomy, that your sin will find you out. It's true, your sin will find you out. And people may not be happy with the actions that they took in the past, that it will come back and haunt them. But that's basically the story of Hedda Gabler. It's a very Victorian style play. The language and the vocabulary is way different from what we use today, of course. But it's not as crazy and out there as ancient Greek mythology or ancient Greek plays like Oedipus a King or Agamemnon, stuff like that, because that's a whole different monster. But thank you so much. You guys have a great day. Jesus is King, and I'll see you later. And I'll be reviewing a Christian film that has atheists, and let's just see how different and how crazy they are from the real actual atheists. Thank you so much for subscribing. Thank you so much for listening to what I have to say. You guys have a great day, or great morning, or great night, whatever. Later, guys. Bye.